Listen up, you blundering fools. It's time for the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. Get all the toy talk your evil hearts could desire from these nincompoops. Jason, Corey, Elgin, and Spoody.
Yo, Joe, and welcome to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast, where a punk rock band of brothers get together to talk about one of our shared loves, toy collecting. We're here to celebrate how those little colorful pieces of plastic can turn anyone into a little kid again. If this is your first episode, just want to...
trying really hard. Sorry.
You did pretty good. I thought we had it. I thought episode 8 here, we finally got through that intro, but not yet. But if you are new here, just want to point out we're just toy enthusiasts. We're not super smarty pants. We're no experts. We just love talking about our toys. And
did someone ask us if you were did someone call you out for being an expert?
No, I wondered if you'd say no. I just was trying to get ahead of it because I listened to our earlier episodes and I'm like, I know we've made mistakes and I've said things and we've
Corey's
talked.
Yeah.
So
I will go on record saying with you solidarity that yes, we are experts in the field of toys.
Wait, that's not what I said at all. But I just trying to, there are a lot of smart people out there talking about toys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to be confused for any of those. All right, let's introduce the band, your fellow podcast hosts. On lead vocals and rhythm guitar, he's our real American hero. It's Corey Canny.
Hi.
Hi. On vocals and lead guitar, a true master of the universe, the quiet one, Elgin Arnie.
I would like to say hello. Hi.
I love it's just evolving. It just keeps. It's so great.
It's not getting better, but
No,
it's evolving.
it's not supposed to.
I'm just glad that he's come to my side of weird-ass intros that you guys think are funny. Up next, on the bass guitar, he's more than meets the eye. He's our Transformers guy. It's the Spooter.
Hey.
Hi, buddy. What's up?
Not much.
Okay, great. So talkative. I'm glad this is a podcast. Next on drums, hey, it's me. I play the drums. I also like horror stuff and Funko Pops and Transformers and, things. Stuff. Hey, but lastly, in the van today, not only is he our favorite merch guy, not just because he prints all our posters for us, he also knows how to collect some toys. This guy, let me tell you, he's got a lot of toys. That's pretty awesome. I'm glad he's here. It's Ted Good, everybody. He's back.
Yeah.
Yo, Joe, turn me into a kid or whatever you want to do. You weirdo.
What's that? No.
Wait, whoa.
I don't know what just happened there, but I'm okay with it.
No little kids here. No little kids.
You said earlier that plastic turns people into kids. Yeah. I don't know.
Right, that's right. Nice see what he did there. Okay. But we were all uncomfortable for a second, though, right?
Turn me in for what?
Well, I'll tell you what. We got a great topic to discuss on today's show. This topic was even suggested by Tad. Might need his help explaining it a little bit. But we're going to talk about how we feel about retro toys being reissued and how we feel about new toys made to look retro. And we're also going to visit a legendary toy store, one that I've personally booked tours around.
Oh, man.
It's an amazing place way down south in Oklahoma City. Oh, mama, what a store.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping.
I was hoping there'd be some more singing on this podcast.
I could do the whole thing if you want.
No.
I believe you. And that's why we're going to move on. Hey, you can follow us on Twitter at Cracktastic Pod and on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Cracktastic Plastic.
I'll get it in.
I know you will. But right now, let's talk about what toys we've picked up lately in a segment we call Thrill of the Hunt. I have to say it different.
You can't snap to that one.
Thrill of the Hunt.
Thanks, Stephen Hawking.
Listen up, you fools! If anyone knows more about searching for the most unique items in the world, it's me, Cobra Commander! In my reign as Cobra's leader, I have acquired countless items, but those meddling Joes have foiled my attempt at worldwide domination over and over again! But it's the thrill of the hunt that fuels my superb rule of Cobra. Pay attention to my loyal subordinates as they tell you of their latest exploits and acquisitions. It's the thrill of the hunt! Cobra!
All right, Corey, Smarty Pants, what have you got?
I think that was a
Hey!
Seaman.
What's new? Definite Seaman over
He's
here.
that guy that lives in the wheelchair, right?
Oh,
Used to.
too soon.
Is it though?
I don't know.
This week I have with
Ooh.
me some things that I've collected
They
at
all have
the
mustaches.
QuadCon that we were at together that Elgin mentioned in our last episode. We were all together there recently. I have with me the Sonic Fighters dial tone. And the reason I got him, I didn't have him as a kid. I had the original as a kid, but I got him because I don't have the original, and I think he looks way better. I'll pass him around, and I'll pass the picture around with him. That's his original paint.
Oh, yeah.
And the original has like green and brown and very military looking, I guess. But I really like the blue and gray and black.
Way more slick.
Yeah, it just looks way better. The accessories, the big giant dumb backpack. It needs batteries. I'm sure it probably still works.
What does
I
it
haven't
do?
tried it. It just makes noises.
Oh,
Makes
there's
a bunch
buttons
of
on
noise.
there.
Yeah,
that you
I don't know
push.
what noises they make because I never had any Sonic Fighters. Those are from like much later in the run. But
I'll just
it's,
pushing the buttons into the
yeah,
microphone.
I took the batteries out because
You
they
would.
were all gross and exploding.
It's nice to see one with that satellite on there. I assume they get broken off all the time.
I assume so, yeah. And I honestly don't even know if he's complete. He came with 2 rifles, and one of them doesn't fit in his hand, so I don't even know if it goes with him.
Nice.
It looks as though it might have a bipod that it's supposed to fit into a hole or something, but I don't know. What do I know? I also brought one of Jason's favorites because he super remembered something about Christmas once when someone gave him something. This is my new Serpentor figure, new to me. In about the same shape as the other one that I have, in pretty good shape. None of his teeth are broken off, and he's got his little snaky snake. I still don't have his air chariot or his dagger.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the one G.I. Joe I have a memory of opening when we were kids. That's the only we had plenty of G.I. Joe toys and vehicles and stuff, but this opening him is the only memory I have of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I was super excited to get him because it's got his cape, and the cape is usually completely destroyed. And
So awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were pretty stoked about that when you
yeah.
picked it up.
And then I brought 2 versions. Well, they're the same version, but 2 Major Blood figures. This one in my left hand is the original, and he came. He had his weapon was like a handheld rocket launcher thing, and so he's got this arm. It's supposed to be armored, and it doesn't move. Like the only articulation is at the shoulder. His other arm is fully flexible and posable, but his right arm, his shooting hand, is not at all articulable.
Is that normal?
That's what the figure came like out of the box. So I have I bought another one at the convention, the one in my right hand, and his hand was broken off, which was fine because I've been wanting to get one for a while to it's a mild custom, but I have several old bats, the Battle Android Troopers, and they're robots, and they have like the robot looking arm, and so I thought, well, hey, I'll steal one of those, I'll paint it black, and I'll stick it on this Major Blood. It'll be this, the same sort of style, but it'll be actually posable and kind of look a little better, in my opinion. So I'll pass those around too. Major Blood was one of those. When I was a kid, I was like, man, he's such a cool character. Even though he has a really stupid voice in the cartoon, he was a cool character. But I just hated the action figure because I could not understand why his arm didn't move. It's like you could still make it look exactly like that because it moved in the cartoon. It's not like he had a stiff arm in the cartoon.
Are any other Joes have the unbendable arm?
No, he
Just
was the
this
only
one?
one. Yeah, just that
Weird.
Major. And there were other versions of Major Blood after him that still had the armor on that arm, but it could move. But
What
the
a
original
weird
one,
thing.
it was. So I always thought, well, hey, it would be really cool to put a bat arm on there, and so I did. I did that. I actually did that this afternoon. I took him apart and changed his O-ring and put a new arm on him and painted it this afternoon. And
So much mustache.
I know.
Did you enhance the mustache at all while you were painting?
I didn't have to.
No, you're right.
And look at his mustache. It's a fantastic mustache. But, I mean, yeah, my opinion is that it makes the figure better. I think it looks a lot cooler.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cool. The original, I didn't expect his robot arm to be so beefy.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And it's very cool that it's such a rare, weird thing to
Yeah,
have.
it's the only figure from the line that came out
So
with
that's
that.
special. So I'm glad you got that. But yeah, the other arms.
Yeah, I
pretty kick-ass.
definitely wanted. If it was the only one, I wouldn't have taken apart my original, like my only original,
Yeah.
to do that. But I've got two, and I wanted them to be different and actually better than the original. So that's what I'm sure I'm not the first one to do it. I'm sure lots of people have done that and had that idea before. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it has happened. But I thought it would look way better and it would display better, and he could actually move his arm, and yeah,
Cool.
So that's me.
I like it. Elgin, you got a pile of goodies.
Yep. So the first thing I have is this.
He did it.
I got this as a late birthday present.
Aw.
So this is all the so in one of our episodes, 2 maybe, Jason picked up the other cars at Dollar Tree,
Hot
Dollar General, Hot Wheel cars. But this is the case that they're supposed to come in as a collector case. So I immediately opened the other ones.
And I remember you mentioning on that episode,
so
you're like,
so I can keep these
there's the
together.
case.
So then they just open up like a pizza and have their little cards
Ooh.
in here.
That's cool.
So then they're just,
Oh, and they're open.
just displayed. Yeah, you could
So
take them out there.
So you can take those out already without messing the box up, but you went ahead and destroyed your other ones.
Well, I want to keep this as I'm not going to take these out.
You're not
at
gonna
all.
take those out and
Yeah.
play
I
with
want, but I cut the bubble off it so I can keep the cards
Yeah,
with the other
yeah.
ones, so I can
Very
store those easier. And then they
Oh,
have their
it's
little
nice
cards,
seeing it all in
that you
one
could pop
spot.
out too, and-
Ooh.
and they're all nice together as artwork and everything. And
It's a toss up for. I still think like the Beast Man one is the coolest of that set.
Yeah.
But Trash Man at Arms is a close second.
where do I put this?
He looks
That's
he
neat.
looks so much like a garbage truck that I just love
Yeah.
it.
And then I had a gift card for Amazon, so I bought some Funko Pops because they were
Hooray!
cheap.
Oh man,
So I got a Terror Claws Skeletor.
does he glow in the dark?
No,
Oh, bummer.
But his claws are terror filled.
yeah, exactly. Terrifying.
That's the
And the Cyclone.
awesome. What was his power?
He's spun around like a cyclone.
And is he a good guy or bad guy?
He's a good guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know any of those answers to that
You sound
question.
like his dad.
I
Is
don't.
he a good guy or a bad
It was a
guy?
couple episodes ago. We were talking about somebody. And I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
even know. Oh, the Elephant Man.
It should be
Oh.
obvious, but
Snout Nose.
Snout
Snout
yeah,
Nose.
Joe Merrick. It
Yeah.
should be obvious, but I think they probably should have called that one Sports Bra Skeletor.
Yeah, it looks, on the vintage figure, that's how he looks too.
Really?
He
He's
has,
wearing
he
a
has
sports
has a
bra?
midriff little armor to show off his ripped abs.
That's awesome.
And then I got a King Randor.
Oh, right. I thought it was
The King.
King, yep.
King
Papa
Randor.
Yep.
Papa Prince.
Yeah, he needed. I just.
It's
In the
good to-
cartoon, I feel like King Randor should have been kicked in the head a lot more than he was.
Yeah, he didn't really he was just like oh, someone's attacking.
Oh,
Better
go
get-
get Orko.
Yeah. Better call He-Man.
Better
Is he
tell
available?
Tell an adult.
But no, but knowing how rare the originalKing Randor is,
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
rare.
got to be awesome to
It's nice, yeah.
feel that you to have
this
one
Like yeah, the original one is like
bazillion.
up to
dollars.
$200.
The original
he-
pop of him.
No,
The original.
the original
yeah.
figure.
I didn't. I mean, even those,
Yeah,
like
no, I
they
know.
reissue pops. You know,
Is
and-
was he part of the later run or?
He was in '87, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So near the end of the line, and he had like a cloth cape and
Yeah.
his staff. So a lot of them they don't have the cloth cape with them anymore. Kind of like your Serpentor.
Serpentod. It's really funny when you
King
pull
Randy.
his head off. Like if his snake head breaks off, he
Yeah.
has basically no chin, and so he like when that happens, like people immediately start calling him Derpentor.
And then the other thing was another addition to the Mega Constructs
Oh, that's cool.
family. It was a battle ram and Sky Sled. The Sky Sled does come off if you pull it off
I'm not doing
carefully.
it.
Here, I'll do it.
Well, that's
Give it
I don't know which part's the sky sled.
that's that
It's this
front
the
part.
Oh,
part.
okay.
I think.
It just clips on the front,
All right, on.
Neat.
and then it shoots.
I'll let you
So
put it
I
back
could
together.
shoot
Pew.
Corey, but not
Yep.
able to.
You'll
Let's
lose
not
it.
lose.
Yeah. And the wheels move and everything. And
Oh.
it did come with Triclops and Mechanic, which you can extend.
Oh, hello.
He's excited to see everyone.
Hey, buddy. I wasn't ready. Okay. Oh,
Okay.
I should.
He has a
not
red.
hand this one
He
to
has a
Corey.
red helmet on the top. And his head extends up.
It's a really shiny helmet.
Yeah.
Very.
And you could take those off and put it back because on the original figure, you twist him and his head
Yeah.
extends up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, it
You
does.
twist it and it extends.
Yeah. Kind of pops right up.
Yeah. Whoa, like very quickly.
Oh, a bunch of children. You were right, Chad. There. Oh my goodness.
So that's all I think I got for this.
You know, it warms my heart to see you getting all them pops over there. Oh man.
Thanks, Dad.
Because before we got here today, also to warm my heart, Elgin's like, "Hey, is this the app you were talking about, the Funko app?" And I'm like, "Yes, it was." Because you get to put them in. I'm like, "So how
Yeah.
many do you got?" And he, it's all now we're chasing that number, and you want
So
it bigger and
trying to
better.
think of so the other ones in this to be a completionist, I guess
Mhm.
I'd have to get Grizzlor, but I don't want to get this Grizzlor. I want to get the flocked one,
Yeah.
which is
You're just
more
gonna have to get
expensive.
both.
I only want to get the flocked one. And
Flock it yourself.
yeah,
Yeah. Go flock.
and then
Every
there's
time,
and then there's
every
also
time.
Shira. They make a Shira that is glow in the dark, like her crown and stuff and armor.
But
glows.
is her sports bra anything quite as nice as
Well, look at it.
Skeletor's sports bra?
You'd
Probably
rather
not.
just make fun of Skeletor.
Probably not. And then there's on the back of this one, there's like Mosquitor and Tongue Lasher and Prince Adam and the 10-inch Skeletor, which I don't want to get those 10-inch ones.
That's
Uh-huh.
what she said.
I thought they did one. Anyway, so cool, awesome. Spoody, you got some things.
I got things.
I love it.
Yay!
New things.
I got 3 War for Cybertron Transformers. So one of them is just the trilogy. It's a Alita one, which is she looks really cool in robot mode.
Except,
I mean, it looks really good in the box.
So this is going to be the one that you don't open, huh?
I already opened it.
Oh,
Which is why I know it's
so you put it back and you're just going to
it's
leave it in
terrible.
the box.
It is really bad.
Didn't you get that one, Jason?
no.
I thought you bought that one.
And the RC is pretty much the same thing. She just has this backpack.
There's a similar trend with a lot of the new War for Cybertron toys. There's a bunch of them that they just don't know where to put all the extra parts, and it turns into a giant ass backpack.
Do you have
basically.
RC?
I don't,
Oh.
but I've seen some videos of
You
it.
have
It's,
Cup?
it's pretty much the same one. Cup's a little different in that so it's because it's a female character, and
But you don't have both girls.
no.
No, Corey. That's a leading question.
Yes.
You could,
2 girls, 1
saw
guy.
that a mile away.
yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to ignore it.
I was going to get there
know.
with or without you. I was
We know.
Yeah, they just wanted to look like the female thing, and so like they don't have anywhere to put anything that would actually make it be transformable.
Right, because it's a curvy transformer
Yeah.
versus a guy transformer that's just a blocky and not so shapely.
And so it just folds up under this like case
So it's
that goes on the
cool,
back.
and
Yeah.
But it's
But then you have I got it's the Kingdom series, Black Arachnia, who is much better and still a curvy female character. It's not a lot better, but it's pretty cool.
always liked her.
Yeah, I have a different version from the original Beast Wars. That's like bigger. It's pretty cool. I like. This one it looks really good. I could go without all of the spider legs connected together on the forearm.
Yeah.
So like the further joints move by themselves and have a ball joint, but where they're on the arm are all together, and it's kind of a pain. But it's a pretty good figure. And the other one I got is Warpath.
Woohoo!
Which I would pass around, but he's not in the box. He's over there.
I got him.
I really like that one.
He looks great.
Looks great, and his
Wow.
his transformation's kind of difficult and weird.
Black Arachnia's got a rack on her. It's like the biggest. This is like the biggest Transformer boobs I've ever seen.
Maybe that's why my son wanted that one.
And honestly, the hardest part of transforming her is to get the part to like cover her boobs up.
Yeah. Ethan, my son bought that one,
I
and
want that, Dad.
he was like, "I need that one." And he bought it to me. He's like, "Can you transform it back into the spider?" And I was like, "Okay." I was like, trying to
It's
figure
that last
Why
little
would you
bit.
do that?
yeah, it's like you
Getting
gotta
it.
put. I was like, I hope I'm not breaking
'Cause
it
the
because it's pretty fiddly.
boobs.
But once you go to
Right
bed, Dad's
there.
going to put him back into robot mode.
Well, he's already lost all the arms. Like
Yeah, I think they
because
came
they
off
just
a couple
attach.
times when
They,
I was.
they attach into it. Like there's another piece that attaches into the leg part of it, and
get
that
little
comes
ball
off.
joints and they
Yeah.
pop right off
And they're all gone. They're somewhere in his room.
because they don't.
He bought it with
move-
his own money, so I don't care. It's like his own toy.
because they don't move on the forearm. Like
Yeah.
if you put any pressure on them, they pop
Yeah.
off on the
Yep.
other part.
But then Warpath's super great because he's based on the G1 look, and he looks exactly like it, and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
He's great.
one of the best ones. Like he's right in line with Inferno and Silver Streak.
And he's only got a single
Blue
boob in the
Streak.
front.
Yeah, only
Just
one.
that
It's one real
uniboob.
big one.
Oh my goodness!
He's cool though. I remember this.
And I mean,
in the
Kingdom
cartoon.
isn't
Do you remember
isn't
how
out
he
yet
used to
on
talk?
Netflix, so don't really know how close he is to the cartoon. But they have been pretty spot on.
Can you do his impression of?
No,
Oh, I thought
don't
maybe
quite
I
remember.
get
I
it.
don't remember how he
It
talked.
was just super southern, like Yosemite Sam, wasn't it? It was
Was he?
kind of.
very,
Like, I'm gonna get that rascally rabbit kind of thing.
yeah, but
sort of.
whole lot of
Like,
general, southern general. Yeah, it was.
yeah.
He was
Old
awesome.
gold miner.
Yeah.
Little foghorn leghorn.
Yeah, yes, whole lot of those things. He was cool.
You put like Elmer Fudd and foghorn leghorn together. Yeah.
And Arlie Ermy. Yeah,
Yes.
it's great. Cool, man. It's so great seeing you getting some toys. Well, I'll go next. I got it's not like Spoody talked about these in the last episode, and he's done some unboxing, so this will just be kind of a refresher since he got to go first, Punk. But I'll pass these around just because I love them so much. It's the new wave of the Headmaster Walmart exclusive ones, and I'll just tell the story about. It was yesterday. So Elgin gets
Yeah.
off work before the rest of us.
At 2:30.
Lucky Punk, and sure enough, I knew they were coming. But I told the story on the first episode about that excitement of turning that corner and seeing things you don't expect to be there. And so I knew these were coming. I'm like, maybe our store will get it. And I was probably there a day ago or 2 days ago. And I'm like, well, not yet. All right. I can't go every day. But then I get Elgin sends me the picture at 2:30, 3 o'clock. And I'm just like, oh my God, can I leave work early? How do I get out of here? I can't. It was the longest 2 hours left
Yeah.
for me. It was awesome. But,
They didn't have any wrestlers. That's why I went there.
oh,
It was empty pegs.
whole lot of empty pegs in that store,
It's bad.
but they got these. So obviously, I love them because that artwork is just
I love
Sure,
the
they're-
packaging on
yep.
these. Like, it's just great. It's
so
fantastic.
So they're
packaging.
definitely they're not the original toys, but the artwork is very, very, very
Yeah.
original, inspired, and since I leave it in the box, oh man, it just gives all the feels. They just look so good.
I thought about like hiding one of those for you, like on like below or above or something, and be
I'd
like,
be like, oh, I thought
took
you
a picture.
said-
I'm like, this is where I hid it for you. This is where
I
I've
thought
done
about
that before.
Yeah.
I thought about doing that for Spoody because he
Yeah.
was like, well, I need him too. If you
Yeah,
get there
yeah.
before me.
But
Of
there are,
course,
like,
the
too many
picture
people.
that you sent Jason had like a $49
Yeah.
price tag.
Oh, I
behind
know.
it.
That's where they put them.
Got me
Like they
scared.
don't know how to.
I panicked.
Stock.
I'm like, fine, I'll spend $180 on
Yeah.
Transformers.
I'll do it, but I won't.
Yeah. So they don't know how to stock anything. They just throw it wherever.
Yeah.
It's irritating.
I'm not gonna like it, but I'll do it.
So those are the ones I got. I just got that new wave. Did I even say the names? I guess Skull Cruncher, Weird Wolf, and Highbrow.
Eyebrow.
And I
Yeah.
brought my G1 Weird Wolf for you guys to look at earlier.
Yes, it was fun to touch him.
Yeah.
He was very cool. All right, let's move over to Tad. Tad brought a whole box full of stuff.
Yeah, but I that's more for the
Oh, okay.
discussion
All
later.
right,
This
all right.
this does sort of tie into it. But I found this at our local comic shop, B-Town Comics.
No fair.
I had a gift card from my sister from Christmas, and I was just waiting for him to get something NECA in, so I'm constantly messaging poor Jeff, and I'm just like, hey, you got anything NECA? Got anything?
you got any stuff?
Right, you got the good stuff? And
you
he's
hold
like, all I have is the Roddy Piper from They Live. I'm like, that's all you have? Dude, like I've...
I'll be right there.
Yeah, and I was
the
like, "Can you
one."
hold one?" Yeah, so I went down, of course, and he had him on hold, and it was like a nice little sale on him too. And we'll get into this in the main topic, but this is not a line I ever anticipated collecting. If you're a listener of Attack of the Killer podcast, I've actually bashed this line, and I'll explain it.
For hours and hours.
I'll explain it later in the episode, but basically this is NECA's version of Mego toys with a cloth body, more of a doll body, and then a sculpted hard plastic head. But they do these in some in boxes, some in clamshells. I've never been able to figure out why they do that, because as someone, if you're collecting a line, it's very, it sucks when they put them out in two different forms, but he comes with two heads and his two guns, sunglasses and non-sunglasses. And it's just, for me, I never expected like They Live to get action figure
For
treatment.
real.
So I know it's probably not going to get, the ultimate treatment 7-inch scale. So I was like, well, either I get this and settle with it,
Might
or
be.
not get it at all. And
Now, is it a cloth body, or is it like just the clothing is cloth?
the
and
clothing is cloth, right?
The body is like hard plastic.
Barbie
Right.
doll under there.
Right. And that's, I'll save that discussion why I don't like them for the main topic. But
Quit looking, Corey. There's no bubble gum in there.
No, I love that he's got a
He's
five
all
like
out.
he's got a 5 o'clock shadow, like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got some stubble going on, and I think that's kind of a cool touch.
yeah, they did a really good job
Little
with
detail.
the head sculpts, and they do have Keith David, but it was a Shout Factory exclusive, and you had to buy it with the 4K. And once again, I'm frugal, so like the cheapest you could get them is a $75 set with the 4K disc and that. And then if you bought it with the bubblegum pink vinyl record of just the one song 7-inch vinyl single, it was $95. So another $20 just for one track. And of course, Andy, if you're listening to this, has it.
Of course he
And he's
did.
going to rub it in. But the funny thing is they're still available, like both of those packages, 75 or the 95. And people are taking that Frank figure and they're throwing it on eBay, and they're getting $100 for just the figure. And then they can turn around and rebuy it with all the goodies, like with the 4K Blu-ray. And
So you're thinking about it.
well, I'm thinking about it because people just are stupid. It's like,
right?
I'm
sorry,
why are you
but-
buying these on eBay? They're still available from the person who made them for cheaper with all the other stuff too. Like, just take the few seconds and
Just
Google
look.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people are
So you
taking
deserve
advantage
it.
of it, But I think he's actually, for the cloth figures, I have to admit he's pretty cool.
All right.
Well, then let's just roll that into our topic discussion today. Retro toys, and do we like the reissues? Do we like new toys made to look retro? Tad, this is your topic. What are you thinking over there?
Well, it's so strange for me because I am on two extremes. I like the highly detailed, ultra accurate 7-inch scale Ultimate action figures to have perfect likenesses of actors from the movies I like. That's sort of what my main focus is. And then I don't like somewhere in between. I like those, or I like these.
He's
like,
reaching into a box.
like these, old retro style reaction figures that have horrible likenesses and no details, no articulation.
Those reaction figures are awful.
It's the other end.
It's the other end, but for some reason, I think it's these are all about the packaging, the artwork, the presentation of it. And it's sort of strange because, like, with these, Super 7 started them with an Aliens line, and then they were basically harking towards the people who collected the Star Wars 3 3/4 figures. Because they came out with like the card that had all the stuff, and they put out like lunch boxes and stuff that you could get them in, and then they became so popular. But they're a boutique item; they're a small company. That Funko decided, hey, let's team up and let's do our version, and we can use our resources to get you big licenses like they do for the Pops and stuff. But
this reaction figure, it looks way better than the Masters reaction.
Well, here's the thing: is like when Funko did them for that short window, the quality went really down, but you got bigger licenses. So like the artwork and the quality of the actual action figures was downgraded because they were just pumping them out. Sure. But you could get them cheaper. They were like $10 at any store, and they had everything, Back to the Future, RoboCop, Jaws, everything. But when Super 7 was doing it, they're a tiny company. They had a hard time getting licenses. So I really like the Super 7 stuff. That's what I'm passing around now. Not only because I think the figures just look really cool, but they also, everything Funko did had the same packaging, same style. Like I really similar. Like Super 7's doing like really cool, like Caligari. They do the cool like, I don't even know what you'd call that. Like, wild packaging and like the Andre the Giant one, it looks like his hand holding a beer. The They Live one, it looks like subliminal advertising.
Oh, hey, this
Dr.
Dica edges
figure. This is giving me that's making me dizzy. I can't look at the front of that Dr. Caligari figure. It's also. And I totally understand the unpunched cards, and
this one still has it. I'll take it out for you.
I don't mind it actually.
I see those, and I just like I want to poke it out, but it's not mine, so I'm not going to.
But then, like even more boutique than Super 7 is like Plastic Meatball, and they do like the specialized Joe Bob Briggs ones.
Oh, that's badass.
And they did Psycho Gorman, and they're like a way smaller run. But these things, I mean, I never buy these at full price, to be fair, because they are like they do Transformers now. Super 7 does, and they're like $20 a piece. 18,
it's crazy.
18 to $20.
Oh my god, they did a Bat figure that's like a 7-inch.
That's
7-inch or
Joe.
10-inch, yeah, like the Battle Android Trooper. They did the Super 7 just did one of those. It's $75 and it's got front butt. It looks terrible.
But what's funny though is like when Funko did it, they were doing like these, they were calling them reactions. Then they dropped the line and gave it back to Super 7 because they weren't selling well, and now they do these things called 9 POA, which is points of articulation. And so they're basically the same scale, but they have articulation a little more detailed. But it's I love Twin Peaks. I'm passing around the Twin Peaks set, and I love the set. I love the figures, but I don't like when they put them in boxes like that, because the whole thing to me is the card is really cool. Like 50% of these is the card themselves, you know?
Right.
And it amazes me that people open these and display them, because to me, like, the whole appeal is this like cool card that, and I put them up on my walls, and, I think they're really cool, but like,
you'd a million times rather have 4 cards.
Right,
of
absolutely.
These 4 than
yeah,
this
it would be
one
so
box.
cool, because I want to have, a Cooper card and a Log Lady card and stuff like that,
My favorite thing about this is the lawn chair sitting action.
Oh, it's
while
genius. Yeah.
obviously having no bending
right.
knees.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
so
and,
good.
And once again, like Plastic Meatball, they've done 3 different Joe Bob Briggs, and I've got all 3. He's got the Halloween one, then he's got a red shirt and a blue shirt, and I bought both of those.
It's Joe Bob, though. You have to.
So this is clearly the other end of sculpt and quality.
Yeah, and then, when Funko had it, they were doing like box sets.
Oh, yeah. That thing.
And, like I said, that thing was only like $20, $25, because Funko was doing it. So they mass produce them, as compared to Super 7. They're doing small runs. So now you're getting this whole entire Power Loader Ripley and the Alien Queen for the cost of almost one of these now Super 7.
Doesn't super look like Ripley.
Yeah.
Right, but you can sort of tell when like Funko is doing them, which that one's a Funko one.
Yeah.
Not as detailed, not quite as cool to me. I don't know.
Still a cool, like...
It's a cool concept, but it just, to me, isn't quite the same. And, me and Jason have gone back and forth on the Super 7 thing because I'm like, dude, they're doing Transformers, and he's like,
$18 for something that just doesn't even.
But then you saw the episode on Super 7, and you're like, okay, I sort of get it. They're sort of like a hipster toy line.
It is hipster, but it is an independent.
See,
toy
some of the,
company
some of the Motu stuff that Super 7 did is really good. Like it's pretty much.
I bought that one that you got me.
Oh yeah. I found this one down at a shop in Kansas City. I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same figure as the original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and apparently as seen on TV.
And they're now doing Ultimates.
Filmation.
Like they're now like Super 7's now doing Ultimates, and they did like an Ultimate Andre the Giant. They're doing I'm trying to think of other lines, but they're doing like really small niche things, and they're doing Andre the Giant before he was in WWE to avoid that thing. But like they're doing more. It's not quite as detailed as like
4 Transformer ones.
Yeah,
coming out.
Yeah, and I don't know the price point. I think they're like 45 or something.
To 60.
Yeah. But I don't know, because I never. That's the thing. Like you guys talking about, like Corey talking about collecting things that he had as a kid and stuff. Like I don't have any. The only things I liked as kids were wrestling toys. I beat the shit out of those, and I never want them. Like I don't care about them now. So like I don't know my connection to these. I didn't own any of those Star Wars figures at that scale. Like I don't quite understand my own fascination with them. I think. I like, as a designer, I like the card. I like being able to, I put them down the sides of my display shelves, and I fit them into weird spots in my collection where I don't like to waste any space in my collection. So they sort of are cool like that. And of course, you know, they do variants. They had like the NES Jason and NES Freddy, and, you know, just little things like that. So I don't know. But I don't even know if you want me to get on my NECA rant about the...
I do. Let's go around once before we do that.
Sure, we'll get to that.
Who wants to... What do you say, Corey? How do you feel about... I mean, you've been pretty vocal about new toys coming out that look retro, the new lines.
Yeah, for the G.I. Joe stuff. So the thing I appreciate the most about the G.I. Joe retro collection is that... I can buy them for my 4-year-old and not give a shit that he's going to destroy them, which he has done. I got him the Awe-Striker and the Hiss Tank for his birthday in January, and literally every single piece of his Awe-Striker has been taken apart and is laying all over the house. And I actually found all the pieces and put it back together. I was like, oh, here you go, buddy. I put it back together for you. Thanks, Dad. 5 minutes later, it was in pieces again. So, and he always wants to touch mine, but he knows he's not allowed to take them apart, and I let him play with them once in a while. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that they look very much like the vehicles look very much like what I had as a kid. But I super appreciate that I can give them to my kid, and he's not gonna destroy something that's actually valuable. And, you know, like valuable monetarily and nostalgically and other ways to me. The figures. Chicago Larry, we had a discussion about the figures, and he said something about them just being repaints of the 25th anniversary, and he could not be more wrong. The 25th ones, they're good quality, and the new retro line figures are not. They're cheap, and they're crap, and they break easily, and they're just not good. And I was comparing, I have some 25th figures, and I was comparing them to the new retro figures today, and it's just like, they're so, I should have brought them with me. I don't know why I didn't. We were discussing this topic tonight. I should have thrown them in the box with the other stuff I was going to bring, and I just completely forgot because I was trying to get out the door with pizza in my mouth. But, the quality of the new retro figures is not, it's not good, and I just... I'm generally an opener, and I have 2 figures, and I'm not going to open them because I don't. The art's good, and I don't want to be frustrated with the action figure.
So, do you think that if the quality was good, you would be collecting them?
I would.
You would have?
Yeah, if the quality was good, even if it was like on par with the 25th, which I've never been a big fan of the 25th anniversary stuff because I'm just an O-ring guy. You know, that's what I grew up with, and that's what I love. I appreciate the 25th anniversary stuff. Larry's got a bunch of it, and I really like his stuff. And I've got a few, and they're pretty good. They're good quality. They're just they're not the simple O-ring figures that I grew up with, so I don't have any real connection to them. But yeah, I mean, because there's not a whole bunch of them. Like with the 25th series, there were a bunch of them. But because as of now with the retro ones, there's not a whole bunch of them. There's like 10 or 12 figures so far. If the quality was there, I probably would be collecting them and actually opening them and like playing with them and displaying them. But it's just not there, so I don't care.
Well, we know there's a lot of action going on over Motu.
Yeah,
I'm so jealous.
unfortunately.
For your wallet.
Yeah. Well, so I brought a bunch of He-Men, I guess.
That's proper.
Just to kind of
Illustrate
make the point of what I don't like about the origin line. So this is my original He-Man. If you want to look at it.
I do.
Mainly looking at the head sculpt. Like when I think of He-Man, I think of that
Yeah,
face and that head.
yeah, squishy head.
Squishy head. So they have yet to replicate that in any retro or revision. The only time they did it was a commemorative 20th anniversary line that they did just 10 figures or something, and they had that exact head sculpt. Anything after that, they have not done that.
Is it on purpose? Like,
I don't know.
Or is it because they are having just a hard time?
Maybe they lost the mold.
I don't know.
Is it? But they could have.
It's possibly.
They
Yeah.
could-
But artists always want
Is
to
it-
do the
Is
new.
it the squishy thing?
No, it's
Just
the
the
way it looks, just the way
Just the sculpt?
the sculpt of it, the way it looks. When I look at all these other ones, especially this origin, now if you took off his head and put the original sculpt on it, I think I would like it a lot more because I do like how it moves and how
So
you can
much
like
better.
Like the articulation.
yeah, how you can do it. He doesn't have a rubber band going through his pelvis, and you can like move his hand. You can do all his wrists and legs,
Do the-
and ankles, and
Do the vests, like his armor thing there, does that interchange? Would that fit
Yep.
on the?
you
on
can
an
pull that
original?
off. Yeah.
Like, it would fit on the original.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like that head better.
This one,
Yeah.
the origin one. I don't for whatever
But the
reason.
toy
But
is
he
better.
has
The
he
toy
has a
itself.
connection to that original.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
that is He-Man, and the rest of them are
Yeah, this is one I had when I was a kid. Like his nose is like chipped off,
Yeah.
But when I look at He-Man, the original is what I look at. This is what
Yeah.
I remember and still see.
I always thought the original He-Man face was just like a little messed up.
Maybe
It's
that's
been
what,
just what you like.
Maybe that's
He's
what,
into that.
But the origin, I like everything about it except the head sculpt. Like if it was that, and I know on the battle armor they did a kind of closer version of the original head sculpt that you can swap out because you can pop off all the arms and legs, torso, feet, and everything, and swap them to make them customizable.
You need
But-
a 3D print, a new head for him.
I probably
I was gonna say, it sounds like you said they have re-released it as like an anniversary.
the 20th anniversary they did a I don't know, like 20 figures or something like that. And that's the only time they did it.
So they can do it. To me, it sounds more like they know, and it's basically holding it back for special occasions,
Probably.
like so they can make more money off of
Yeah,
it. You know,
and
smart.
I don't. Yeah, it's smart, but I don't like that.
Right, exactly.
As a consumer, I don't like
I have a
that.
similar
And
argument
even-
with Michael Myers masks. Some people like this one, that one, this one, that one.
Yeah, I think that's a lack of being able to sculpt it, like a stupid accident of creating using the Will Shatner mask and having no budget, spray painting it, ripping off the side. No one's ever been able to replicate it because they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
And even the Super 7 line is not the same as this. It's
closer.
It's closer, but it's not the same as
It's a little meltier.
Yeah.
But
And I haven't opened that one because I feel like if I open it, I'll start collecting it, and I don't want to do that.
Well, and you already
For
have
right now.
basically this exact toy,
Yeah,
except the
and I
head's
have,
a little different. And
the original, which I love more.
yeah,
He looks
This
much more
hair-
tan.
Yeah,
this
he got
hair is
fake
a lot
baked bit.
closer to the cartoon hair.
That was because those are based on Filmation on the series,
Yeah.
the TV series, all
Mhm.
those, which they made kind of. They're like, oh, let's kind of take the Super 7 and redo it.
Yeah,
instead
this
of take the
hairdo,
original.
it's like the I want to talk to your manager He-Man.
And when they did the New Adventures, so the New Adventures of He-Man, which was after the original line, that's a completely different redo of the whole thing. I don't have any of those. I don't want to collect any of those at all. Like I don't even
Because they're terrible and stupid and you hate them?
Yes.
Yeah. That's reasonable. That's why I
really
don't want that's why I don't want the retro G.I. Joes.
They're very ugly to me to look at and everything. And then so this is like the 2000X version. This is a McDonald's toy, and I am trying to complete these McDonald's toys, but not the actual 2000X line because I don't like how these look either. But I want the McDonald's toys.
They're pretty wildly different too. The 2000,
and that's like a whole revamp because they wanted to make him younger and everything.
Yep.
But that's not the original head. And then they did these oils. Yep.
Why? I mean, he's always going to get punched in the face because he's never looking at his...
They're all kind of hunched.
He's got some pretty bad posture.
Sclerosis
yeah.
Then they did these loyal subjects line, which I've been collecting some of those, but that's not really an original head in my mind. But it's different enough to be like, okay, this is a different thing. It's a new toy, but it's different enough to collect for me.
And he's like,
yeah, I mean, the whole thing is
articulation's good
different
on this
enough.
too.
Right, exactly. It's a smaller. I don't know. Yeah,
Corey just broke
that's
it.
fine. I had to find his arm in the bottom of my bucket of toys.
Yeah, no, I knew they popped off.
Yeah. And then even
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, even with the Funko Pops, they're different enough too. They'd be like, okay, but it's not an original head. It's not the original head sculpt.
It's pretty close. Just kidding.
And then the little Mega Constructs I had, once again, is not the original head sculpt. Really, with the 5.5-inch figures, I want it to be this vintage head sculpt. That's the head I want on all on the new figures.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like they know that, and they're keeping it from you.
yeah, they are.
So is it
Mattel-
just He-Man, or do you find that with some of the other ones? Other
Man
characters too?
at Arms head sculpt is awful. It looks
On the new
on the new Origin. It looks awful. That's why I haven't bought it. I didn't even want to get it as a gift. Actually,
Wow.
I told my wife,
That's how bad it is.
I'm like, okay, I'll if you want to get me some presents, here's what I would.
So I know what to get Elgin for Christmas.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to look at it because I didn't pay close enough attention to the new head sculpt to see how different
on
it
the
is.
original Man at Arms, he doesn't even have a mustache,
Yeah, I
and
knew
they
that.
put this like giant soup strainer on him.
Which he had the mustache in the cartoon.
In the
That's
cartoon.
what I'd never understood.
But if you look at the Super 7 line of
Yeah.
Man at Arms, it looks a lot better. Like that
Yeah.
one looks actually decent, but I
This
don't know.
This
they
one's
just
not
look
bad. The Mega Constructs one.
Yeah,
Because it's so small.
Yeah.
Like, I don't,
You can't notice.
exactly.
yeah, it's
And that's why I
there's
like.
so little detail to it.
But having a love of Legos, like that's my connection to that. And I never thought I would be like, have Lego type thing with Masters. So that's why I have so many of these now.
But do you think it has something to do with like some of the lines are clearly marketed to be at a like Walmart, Target, whatever, as a toy for children to open up, play with, where Super 7 figures are not that way. Like
No.
that's a collector's type thing, and they're made by collectors who take the time and they know it's a boutique thing for people who are looking for it.
Yeah, when Mattel restarted this Origin line, they wanted it obviously to introduce to a new audience, to kids, and they put it as like a $15 price point, which I think is still expensive.
it's still a little bit much for
kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, they redid all of them, and like Tila looks fine.
yeah.
Evelyn looks fine.
Skeletor looks good.
Skeletor, I don't like that his mouth is open, but it's
No.
okay. Beastman looks great. It looks almost exactly like the original. And then
Because he was so good to begin with.
And then there's some that look exactly like the original, like Clamp Champ looks exactly like it that I've seen from Instagram posts. It's like, well, why couldn't you just did that? That's a character that was barely made, and you did that, and even like Ninjor and all the bunch of other characters. It's like, just do He-Man, just do a head sculpt on a regular figure.
It's a particular but totally understandable hang up.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Totally get it.
the vehicles on the Origin line are great. Like Battle Cat, Panther is great. Even though I wish they would have make it flocked, but they didn't. And then they did a land shark, which looks almost exactly like the original. And the sky sled, which looks great.
The Sky Slut.
Well, so Spoody with
This part.
with Transformers,
Battle
there's been at least a dozen different toy lines since the original.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Only a dozen? It feels like you.
I was going to say 20, but I was trying to
I'm
be
looking at a dozen
conservative.
on the table right now.
And every single new toy line never is like the original. I mean, they're close. I mean, Elgin's getting super picky, no offense. But like to me, it's
what I like to
in my
collect.
head, I'm like, I wish that Energon Optimus looked like G1 Optimus, but he is a different ballpark. Like there's almost no similarities in the toy that we get. So like, how do you feel about
And yet, a lot of them are instantly recognizable as that character,
right? And so
while being completely different.
and I feel like that is more okay, or maybe it's just ingrained with being a Transformer fan that variance is acceptable.
Well,
I
'cause
don't-
you would have to. You couldn't just keep putting out. Well, I mean, Motu might be the exception. Like putting out the almost identical toy
Yeah.
again and again and again.
See, yeah,
Well,
if I had
If
been,
if they had done it
fan-
as many times as Transformers has come out with a new line, people would probably be sick of their shit.
probably.
But when I look at the new Joes on the card backs, I'm like, just because I don't know, they look like just exact copies of the original.
But
in my
they
head.
haven't put out 20 versions of the exact original.
Yeah.
Not in mass. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there hasn't been a complete stall in the GI Joe market really over the years, but there hasn't. It's been a lot of convention stuff, and then like there was the 25th line that came out. I don't know, however many years ago, it's 10, 15 years ago. And then there's been other stuff that's come out since then that's just been like, they're few and far between, but it hasn't completely stopped. But
With Transformers since like 84,
Yeah.
almost within like 2 years, every 2 years there's been a new toy line.
Yeah.
Some of them have been like just in Japan. Some of them, have been worldwide. But
And a lot of times it's the same characters over and over and over.
there is
completely
always an
redone.
Optimus Prime, and there's
Yep.
almost always a Megatron and Bumblebee
Yeah.
and Starscream.
And they change vehicles too. Like this character will be the same, but obviously Megatron went from a gun and he's a tank all the time. And
he's been a helicopter too, right?
He's been a jet.
do you not get Megatron because he's not a gun? Does the change bother you?
No, because it makes sense why they stopped. Also, there's the whole scale
Yeah.
thing of him being a giant robot turning into a tiny gun.
Mass shifting's
it
a
makes
thing.
it
in
makes more
Transformers.
sense.
It's
Yeah,
real.
makes more sense that he's a tank instead of
Yes.
or a jet or whatever he
Yeah.
happens to be in that series. 'Cause in the movie ones, he was a jet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of. So they will do a lot of repaints. It was really bad in like the Beast Wars era. They would just keep putting out within like a 1 or 2 different series. They'd put the same toy out like 3 or 4 times with just a different color and a
Right.
different name, maybe. They seem to have gotten a little further away from that. Aside from that, I have loved almost everything they've done. Like the actual like G1 reissues have been amazing.
Yeah.
They are a little pricey.
But we're literally getting the same
but-
toy.
Almost. The only changes they ever really made in those is like the missiles.
Yeah.
Is
Have to be
there-
longer
have
now
to be
for
longer
kids,
now, so
choking
they're less
Is there a
hazards
big
and-
difference in the toy itself between the G1 and the re-release of the what the hell's his name?
Blaster?
Yeah,
I have an open mind, but it looks this.
it looks
The
exactly
new-
the same to me. But
The
I don't
Astro
know.
Train looks exactly the same, and
I mean, yeah, I have a few, like I have an Ultra Magnus
Mm-hmm.
reissue, and is exactly like the same, except for like the missiles are
Yeah.
different. I have a couple others which I don't remember. They're in a box somewhere. Someday I'll get them out. they're a little pricey, but they're still way cheaper than being able to find one of the original G1s, especially complete in a box.
Yeah. Oh,
They're still a fraction of the price.
So do you guys appreciate that in all of your collections? Like when they reissue something and it's close enough, like do you feel the satisfaction? I have this now. I don't need the original.
For the most part, I would take one of the reissues.
For me, yeah.
Instead of.
Yeah.
So it's like a character checklist than a original checklist.
Well, like
because it is the same toy.
Yeah, and like the Hiss tank that just came out, putting them next to each other on a shelf, there's practically no distinction between them, and I'm perfectly happy with the reissue versus
You have to
spending
really
the
know
money.
what you're looking for.
I mean, the figures
the
are different, and I
dates
would
that are
like to
printed on
have
them.
an original figure to go with the new one, which I don't have yet. But as far as getting an original Hiss tank, I don't have to because it is the exact same toy, only it's made with a little better quality plastic that's not going to degrade so bad and weakens over time so bad.
Yeah. So Transformers is a good example of. So they have a line of reissues that they're still doing. They're still coming out with them, and they've been going for 10, 15, 20 years now of reissues. Long time. But then they also have like kind of a reimagining of the same old characters. Like this Warpath from the newest line is so much like the original, but like so
Way
much better.
upgraded, yeah.
Like way upgraded. He's like 3 times the size.
So would that fill your void on collecting the original Warpath?
No.
Or, yeah,
See,
'cause you want all the-
If it was a reissue of Warpath, then I'd be fine. With
I was
that.
looking at that thinking it was really small, and you said that's 3 times bigger than the original?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of the little tiny ones, like
Oh.
Bumblebee size.
Yeah.
Like the original Bumblebee. Like he was really small.
Huh.
I would much rather have the original. Like if you had both of these figures, because they're different. I mean, because the head sculpt's different. If someone said, "Would you rather have this original one or this Origins one?" I'm like, "The original."
Yeah.
Right,
all
but
day, every day.
If tomorrow they announce they're putting out the attack track guy you have over there in the box, like reprinting the box just brand new, sparkly, the toy works, everything looks exactly the same, but it's brand new, but you know it's not the original from when you were a kid. Would you
I'd probably buy the vehicle. Like I said, the vehicles I like that.
But would it make a difference to you? Like if you didn't already have that
I would
one,
still want the original.
you would.
Okay, there you
I'd
go.
still want the.
That's what I was going
It
for.
wouldn't necessarily have to be in the box. Like it just happened that it was in the box. If I went to a convention and that attack track was just out on the table, not in a box or anything, I would have still bought it.
If it was sitting next to a brand new one in box, and it was, say, the brand new one's $20 and the original out of the box is $40, which one would you go for if they were the exact same toy?
Of original ones?
Like
One's
no,
original,
like if
one's
there's
a
there's a
reissue.
reissue sitting next to the original, and the original is twice the price out of the box as the reissue
Original.
in box, even though it's like
I'd
the
still buy
exact
original.
same molds and everything, like it's going to be the same toy.
People might think we're crazy, but like
I know I'm not arguing. I get it.
you
I'm just
can
curious.
feel the difference in the plastic.
Yeah.
They're obviously the plastic's different. now.
It's probably going to work
And-
better and probably longer. But I still, because I have so many original figures and I have so many original vehicles, that's my main collecting is the original.
Yeah.
See,
Guys,
something
that's
like this, I totally get, because
Yeah.
there is a very,
It's a marked
very
difference.
big difference between those two figures. As far as the vehicles go,
The vehicles are
like I
very
was
similar.
saying, I can't, like, you almost can't tell the difference between like the G.I. Joe tanks, the Cobra Hiss tanks.
Well, the two land sharks, like the original and the Origins one,
Uh-huh.
they just are very, very similar. But I would still want the original
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, we
Like,
got
it's
an
just-
original Weird Wolf
Yeah.
and a reissue.
Yeah.
And like
Weird Wolf
looking
right here.
at that, and then looking at this G1 is like, I'm glad I have the original one.
Yeah. I mean, they're quite a bit different.
Yeah.
you can tell it's the same character.
But if you were to have
Yeah.
an actual like reissue of this that was this toy,
Right.
um,
That's the problem. They haven't done that with Masters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they've done it a lot.
Except
with
that
Transformers.
commemorative, which they only did on the 20th anniversary, and then they stopped.
Yeah.
And then they rebooted with this 2006 line. They're like,
The,
oh yeah, they don't like that anymore. We want something new.
yeah.
Like,
So
no,
with the
we don't.
Transformer reissues, like the plastic on them is pretty indistinguishable. Like,
Yeah.
so the Ultra Magnus I have, the semi cab part of it is Optimus Prime,
yeah.
and what was die cast is still die cast, and the plastic feels exactly the same as the Optimus Primes that I have. You couldn't tell a difference. The only thing that, like, I haven't seen any of the reissue Dinobots, and that would be,
and they're different.
And the plastic on the Dinobots is different than most of the other G1s, which is why they break and why they're really expensive now.
Yeah. And the difference there, like between old G.I. Joe and the new retro line, is that the plastic that they're using on the retro line is way better.
Yeah.
The old plastic from 30, 40 years ago has deteriorated so much that, like, I mean, in 50 or 60 years, a lot of the stuff that I have, that a lot of other collectors have, it's probably going to be gone because it will have just crumbled. Unless it's, in a hermetically sealed case or something, it's going to degrade and crumble.
Yeah, with the reissue Transformers, if you don't look for the year date on them and like it's a loose figure, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. I guess I would be fine with owning something like that. Yeah. Like if it's the exact same toy.
Now, if you get to like where they've reimagined the characters. So it's like a G1 character, but it's newer. I would definitely want the original still.
Right, they're different enough.
I guess,
and I like that it still gives you that character and something that's even kind of cooler than the original G1 toys. Most of them are pretty
cool.
lame. They're pretty cool, but they're pretty lame as far as like transforming.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to
like
them.
That weird little hovercraft thing that basically just folds in half. And that's it.
Where like this takes like 20 minutes to transform.
Yeah. Which to me kind of makes it a little less fun. Go ahead, Jason.
No, when it comes down to it for me, all I ever want is to just be able to look at this toy and it give me those nostalgic feels at the end of the day. Toner. And yes, that's a toy boner. Sorry. Can't
Your action figure.
So I'm 1,000,000% for all the reissues. Give me everything again, just the way I had it, but different. That's fine. That's why we collect things in the first place, right? To recapture that youth. But but with the new toys made to look retro, that's probably the reason that I started collecting again. Those seeing those new versions painted the same way, they look the same color schemes as the original, but they're different. Just seeing them new brings that character to me. I'm like, oh, it's the character that I love. Give it to me any way you can. I want that. And these new toy lines got me so excited to collect again. And I like toys, guys.
Yep.
I like toys.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get moving on, we got Tad here. I got to hear this NECA rant.
Well, I was just going to say, in relation to what you're talking about now, like McFarlane started with Movie Maniacs in like the mid to late 90s, and then they did several lines, and then NECA sort of came along, and they upped the game a little bit.
Really
with the sculpts are even more detailed, and it's like, oh, we didn't think this was possible. So they start resculpting the stuff McFarlane did years ago, more accurate, more screen accurate with likenesses. And then NECA comes back and they redo their characters that they've done for the third time with more articulation as an Ultimate figure, with more accessories and better paint ops. And I mean, they keep doing the same thing. They're re-releasing their own toys and better job, better paint, like within like a few years. So, it's like, but I'm all about like what I think is the best one. Like I don't even display my Movie Maniacs because they're not at all accurate. At the time, they were all we had, and they were really cool. We thought that was the pinnacle, and they just keep upping the game. But
so then, do you keep those in your collection, or if you're not going to display them, or are you going to do you pass them on and like? I've
passed on some of them, or I keep them in storage or sell them. But if there's a new upgraded version of a character I like that's better. Like for instance, Sam from Trick or Treat, like NECA did one years ago, and they did it, and then the movie got shelved for like 3 years, and no one bought the thing. I owned it, and then when the movie came out, it was a huge, cult classic, and the figure was hard to find. So then they re-put it back out with more articulation, all the accessories and stuff, but it didn't affect the value of the original, even though it's not quite as nice. People still want that one because that's the original, right. But I have to own both, and I display both of them next to each other because he's the kind of guy that has a masked head and an unmasked head, so I put them next to each other, and it's sort of nice. But as far as what Jason's alluding to, like the retro stuff from NECA, like I brought this Michael Myers from Halloween 2. They introduced a line of what is it, Mego or Mego? Mego. So they introduced this line of 8-inch scale action figures with actual real clothing and highly detailed sculpted heads. And right away, I was totally against it. I think, especially early, they've gotten much better now.
Yeah.
The one that you guys are passing around is pretty damn awesome. Actually, the head sculpt is better than the Ultimate version. But I've never been a fan, and it's not because it looks like a doll or anything, but because I think Hot Toys are awesome. But like, I think tailoring clothes that small, you miss out on details. They don't look like real. They don't fit him well. They don't fit the characters well.
Because it's a jumpsuit, it looks better than a lot of the other ones.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
because it's a jumpsuit, there's not a lot of detail.
But like the Roddy Piper I passed around, like his pants are like they look like Jinkos. They're huge, you know. And here's the thing that irritated me was that they started putting out everybody's forever. You know, we want a realistic Snake Plissken. We want They Live. We want these action figures. And NECA's like, we got the license, but they're going to be retro style figures. And a lot of people are like, okay, cool. And I'm like, God damn it. Because
so close.
Right. It's not, or if you're going to do this, at least put them in scale, because I can't put this with the rest of my toys because he's suddenly an inch taller and it looks stupid. You know, he's not even in scale with the others. And so they're getting these Grail licenses. Like they got Candyman, they got Snake Plissken, they got They Live, all these characters that people have been demanding for the last 30 years that no one's done. And then they do a really great head sculpt and then just throw it on this body, but they sell them for more. They're like $35 for this, and their excuse is that, well, you know, we do more niche toys that have less of a request in this retro line because they can push them out. They don't have to get the tooling for the bodies, so they use the same body for him, Roddy Piper. They're all the same body, so really they're sculpting a head, hands, and boots, which he probably has the same boots.
And
you know,
charging you more,
right? And they charge me more, and I'm like.
Fuck
you know,
you.
right? Like you tell me, you lifted the curtain and told me the trick. Like, you know, we can pump these out because the tooling is where all the cost is. You know, over in China where they manufacture them, they sculpt this little head, they send it over there, they make what they call tooling, like the mold that they pump these action figures out with. The Ultimate figures, they have to make tooling for the hand, the elbows, every single thing. With these, they just make the head and the hands basically, and you can reuse the boots, you can reuse the hands. You're basically putting, you know, and apparently the bodies are very cheap and the clothing's a lot cheaper than the tooling. So to me, it's like if you're going to
expect that most people are never going to take it out of the package,
right? And to me, it's like if you're going to tell me it's cheaper to manufacture, that's why we're doing it, so we can do it for more obscure licenses, then sell it cheaper. Yeah, you're telling me that, you know, here's our excuse. This is why you can't have Snake Plissken in the current modern. And the thing with these two is that irritates me is like they're like it's Mego style, but Mego had that same sort of crappy head sculpts, and like their Creature from the Black Lagoon just had like a printed bodysuit on and a crappy like. I appreciate that they're upping the game, but it's like you're showing us what you can do. You have this great head sculpt. Give me the goddamn body for it, you know, like, or at least make them in the same scale so I can customize. I could take, you know, this head sculpt and put them on a different Michael Myers. It's just sort of irritating. I never planned on collecting them, and then, you know, I knew with like They Live is a Grail license for me, and they're not going to put out. And of course, tomorrow NECA's going to announce, you know, Ultimate They Live, right? But it's like, don't do that to me. Like, it's just such a tease. Like, and they know that we're trapped because it's like, okay, this is the only way I'm going to get Roddy Piper is because they're not going to make an Ultimate, or, you know, these certain characters. It's just, to me, it's very irritating, and their inconsistencies. Some of them, like I've shown here, one's in a box, one's in a clamshell. Yeah, and it's weird because like all the stuff I brought tonight is still in the box, but I have all my collection on display. These things, they don't stand well. They look like crap when they're open. They just don't, you know. And they have really cool art on the packaging and stuff, but it's like, I don't know.
Half of it's hidden behind the figure.
Right.
And that packaging won't stand up on its own.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I don't know. I have an Ultimate version of Michael Myers, and I bought him because I think the head sculpt's really great. And once again, I'm a completionist on Michael Myers and Sam. If they did a retro cloth Sam, and I bought him, and they used the same sculpt as the other one, but they just blew his head up a little bit, and then, you know, they sold the same figure to me twice. Those bastards. But
Yeah.
I just love it because I mean I didn't want to bring it out like that, but these guys would never let me live it down, but it's great, guys, because for years he was just bashing these Mego style figures forever and ever. And then I go to his house the other day and he's got 7 or 8 of these things.
I've got this.
He swore up and down he was never.
The only ones in the
these.
collection are these 2, and then I have the aliens from They Live. But
Because you had to.
yeah,
I didn't give you a choice.
They did a Loomis and a Lori from Halloween 2. I didn't buy those. If I saw them in a store, I probably would. But I already have a Loomis, and he's a 7-inch scale, and he's great, and he looks awesome. This new one looks like shit. It looks like the ill-fitting clothes, and they just don't look natural.
But at least he's more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what
Upside, I guess.
Like less accessories. I mean, just everything about it. It's irritating as hell. Like.
Yeah,
So
the
that's
toy
my
sucks, but at least it costs a lot.
Yeah.
yeah. That's just sort of my their argument of like it's cheaper to manufacture. That's why we're doing it. Then sell it to me cheaper. Don't these are like
It makes you less want to buy it more.
right and but they know they have us trapped. It just when they announce a big license and then or tease something. I already have it in my head. I'm like, it's going to be a goddamn Mego figure and going to be let down. They're like, hey guys, we got the Reanimator license. Yeah. But it's,
what?
and the thing is like with him, they still haven't figured out how to sculpt realistic looking glasses. He looks like shit. He looks like he's wearing safety glasses, and it's like, that's more accurate to the Mego style, I guess, but I don't collect Mego figures. I don't want them. Sorry, Brian Clark.
Calling you out.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here. Such a great topic. Toys. Oh man.
When they released the Origin, they actually put out the Masters of the WWE Eternia first, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna do the same. It's gonna be the same body, which it is. It's the same articulation, and everything. But they hadn't released like the head sculpt or anything. But it's like, yeah, it's gonna be the same as these. You can move them around and pose them, which is great for pictures. Like doing these for pictures is great. Like how they move and everything. And then they put it out. I was like, oh,
That damn face.
my head.
So close. So close.
Well, like with the wrestling stuff, I mentioned earlier, I grew up collecting those, but that was not even collecting. That was just, I legit had the ring. My dad would like build like a table with a hinge and we put a sheet over it.
Nice.
So it'd break in the middle and I could set it back up. They probably made those, but if my dad could make them cheaper at home, we did. But now I see like, back when I was a kid, like all the wrestling figures were almost the same thing. And then I see them out now and I see Ultimate Warrior like with great detail and he's like a collector style and I'm like, I sort of want to get that, like because he looks so like they have the likeness
good.
and it actually looks like him.
The Ultimate Warrior for this line is great.
It looks awesome.
looks
It looks
so
fantastic.
And I love the crossovers too, like it's really cool.
They're putting out another one on this next wave. So he was out on the very first wave and now on wave 6, I think. He's going to be like a hero, basically.
Do you have all? So you're just missing a couple from wave 5, and that's it.
Wave 4 and wave 5. So Mr. T from wave 4 and
then Black and White Macho Man from wave 5. Which he's not nearly as expensive as Mr.
Not
T.
Yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
But he will be.
Great discussion, and let's continue that over in our Facebook group. Everybody get over there, Cracktastic Plastic on Facebook in the group. That's where all the fun talk continues. Let's get over there. But right now, let's take a quick break, and let's hear from our podcast network.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
And we are back. Oh, thanks for hanging out. How about that PFPN? Those guys sound pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what time it is? Time to get in the van. All right, let's gas it up. Let's get down south. Let's head south. What do you say, Elgin?
Ding, 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 ding.
Take us on a store tour.
All right, today's store that we're going to go visit is one that we've visited before. It's called Toy Base. I was trying to think if we have all visited.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's called Toy Base 10 at 4028 Northwest 10th Street in Oklahoma
So
City,
good.
Oklahoma. It's a large warehouse-like store with multiple rooms. Like you can go in each room down to like a hallway, and there's one room. Yeah, themed rooms, I guess.
Yeah.
It's very organized though. Like it just has rows and rows of stuff in each room. But there's no prices on anything, so you take whatever you want up to the front to the man,
and he says
it's
$3,000.
Yeah, so he says it's a large amount, and then you haggle from that point.
Yep. And you say $5, and he says $3,001.
Yeah, he's a very funny guy, but you just
he gave me free stuff.
Yeah,
Go on.
so at that point, when we went there the first time, when I went there with you guys the first time, I was not collecting anything yet at all.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't got that.
We didn't even
bug
know
yet.
you then.
Yeah, exactly. Who is this guy?
Why is he falling?
Just stay in the van, Elgin. Are you going to collect anything?
What's your name again? Elgin?
Exactly. So I was just kind of wandering around. I was trying to remember if I even saw any master stuff there. I don't remember seeing any, but
I'm sure there was.
there
somewhere.
probably was, but it didn't
Wasn't there.
click for me. So I was just like, you guys done yet? We gotta do stuff.
No, we have a lot of ground to cover in this place.
So basically, while I waited around for you guys to get stuff, I was like, well, I'll just look, maybe I'll buy something. Let's look around. And they had like a bunch of pins at the front. And they had this, I'm a Ghostbuster pin up there. And I was like,
I got one too.
I was like, hey, how much is this pin? He's like, just take it. I was like, cool. And then Corey's like, free stuff.
That does sound like
Oh, can I have someone that I know that can
My
have it? It's free.
sister-in-law,
It's free.
yeah.
Can I have it? It's free, right? Can I have it?
My
He's like,
sister-in-law
take it.
Holly is probably the biggest Ghostbusters fan. But the cool thing about those buttons is that those are original buttons from the release of the original movie.
84.
And you just let him have.
Yeah, he had a bunch of them on
Yeah,
his.
dated 84 on the
Yeah,
bottom.
he had a bunch of them, and he's like, "Yeah, take one." So, yeah,
I was
an
gonna give him
original
some
piece
money.
of-
Yeah, and he's just like,
Ghostbusters
just take
history.
it. I was like, cool. That was the only thing I got there.
this store is gigantic.
Oh my
I
God.
want to go back now.
I do too.
Gigantic.
But it's actually not that big.
And it's not actually that organized.
No, but it's
Not at
like,
all.
I mean,
But
it
this
does,
was like 4 years ago,
Right.
More. So
it feels like a flea market, but then it is very separated. They got, like you said, a lot of rooms. There's full rooms that any other toy store would be their whole store.
Yeah,
Yep.
just
there's like
dedicated to
10
this
of 'em.
and that.
because you walk down a hallway and
Mm-hmm.
you turn
Filled.
left and go into a room, and the hallways are also filled.
Yes.
And then
2 or 3 deep.
then you go to the next room, and you think you're in the last room, and then oh no, there's another
Oh,
room,
no.
and then it's
And
like
it's floor to ceiling.
Yep.
yeah, and there's like 5 rooms on each side of this wall that goes down the middle in each hallway, and then one side there's the hallway wall, and then there's just like room,
Yep.
and then the other side of that wall is like a room on each side of another hallway. So there's probably like 12 or 15 rooms total that are all dedicated
My
to
memory
a particular
feels like
thing.
it's true.
Like
And
I
like
said,
up
it's
in
a
the
warehouse.
there's
that's-
also up in the front he's got all this stuff
Yeah.
displayed. He had like
hanging off the ceiling.
I don't remember if it was like a half size or a full size robot from Lost in Space, the original one he had up there, and like just so much cool stuff. Yeah, and there was Transformer room and a Star Wars room and a G.I. Joe room and like just
So you guys all split up and went into your own rooms.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I just wandered around because, like I said, I wasn't collecting
Yeah.
anything. I was
So
like,
At
no
that
one,
point, his
no one has any idea
son
what
had
color
not-
the walls are.
No.
Like there's no free
Space.
space
No.
at all.
But that part of it, like even though it's like completely packed with everything, it's organized packed, not pushed
Not
into
clutter,
a corner
yeah.
with a bulldozer packed like the toy pit in.
Kind of. Like, so I was, one of the walking down the halls, I look over and I see like this little Transformer box behind like 2 other boxes.
Yeah.
And it's a stack of like 4 G1 Dinobots mitten box.
Right.
Just like
You never would have seen if you didn't
piled
move
behind
something. Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
other stuff. Yeah.
It feels like
and there was 10 other like G1 Dinobots in Mitten box
Japanese versions
in the room.
it feels like he's just spent his whole life buying collections and never selling anything. It just keeps. He's just got so much of everything. It's.
I really want to go
incredible.
back there now that it's been a few years and we know what kind of haggler he is. I think there are some really good deals, especially like the way that I buy. I always go into a store and I find a bunch of stuff that I want, and then I haggle the price for the whole lot.
Yep.
And I usually get some really good deals that way. And I feel like I would probably get a good deal with him doing that.
And since he doesn't have prices on anything, though, what he really does is he makes you go on eBay and see what and the average of the last 3 sold as prices.
Right.
Sold for prices to get that market value ish,
And that's why he has piles and piles of stuff.
and it is. but you know, it makes for a long day there for having to do that to get an idea of what things cost. But if you know that that's what's going to make the things cost that they do, you can like, there's this thing here. I know it isn't sold for anything. It might be worth more, but it doesn't mean it's sold for a lot. So you can get some things for sure. And like you said, he haggles like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, the eBay sold price is the starting point of haggling.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you try to get for like 20% under that because...
Right.
And he does it. I remember
Because it saves him shipping it to somebody on eBay. So
the last time I was there, I got my Holy Grail Predaking. And sure, it was a Japanese knockoff type version, but
remember you're psyched about being a Japanese box.
That just for the artwork alone, it's all in Japanese, so that's kind of really cool. And just getting that toy brand new, basically, because it was. But we got to talk him down a bit, and I got to go home with a Holy Grail. It was amazing.
Well, stuff like that for me, it's like. Just being able to see things, even if I can't afford them, just to see them.
Person.
Yeah, see it in person, hold it and like check it out and be like, that was really cool to see. I can't afford it, and I know I'm not going to buy it, but it's just okay, like it exists.
You still get that nostalgia feeling, like being able to hold a thing that you held in your hands when you were 10 years old, and being able to hold that again and just be like, I can't afford
and not
it.
have the
and
money
he had
again.
some crazy rare stuff in there. There was like old tin toys and
the gamut.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The room that was the most disorganized was the Star Wars room, and it still had a pretty decent amount of organization to it, but there were also several tubs of just stuff on the floor.
I'm pretty sure there was a full-size R2 in there too.
Yeah.
Great store.
Love it.
Toy Base 10. Come on, Ted. Let's come with us next time we go to Oklahoma.
I wonder how much
it's really
further it
the
is
only
to go
reason
there
to go to
than,
Oklahoma.
After going to
Ohio?
Peddler's Post in
just to keep
Bolivar,
on going?
just head over to Oklahoma City. I don't know how far.
It's worth looking up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Such a great store. Definitely support it, follow it. If you're anywhere near, oh my gosh, it's worth going. If only for just to get to hang out and talk to that guy. He's a lot of
He's
fun.
a character.
But that's Toy Base 10, Oklahoma City. All right.
Moving on.
Moving on. Let's do some talking toys.
Our discussion this week, obviously, retro toys. And do we like them? Do we hate them? How do we appreciate them? Do we not appreciate them at all? Turnip. Good old Turnip. The actual question was, how do you feel about them being reissued? And how about new toys made to look retro? Turnip. Chris Simmons, he says to us, I think it's only a positive thing. Older collectors can get a minty fresh copy of the toy they loved when they were kids. Younger collectors can experience an older toy at prices that won't break the bank, and the aftermarket prices for the originals might start to come down for those that still want the original. It has been my experience so far that is not true with the G.I. Joes. That part of it is not true. It is
Same with
not,
Transformers.
Yeah, prices are not coming down. The only downside is if less scrupulous people try to resell it and pass it off as the original, which with the Joes is pretty impossible to do. With the Transformers, like you were saying, some of the reissues, if you don't look for a date stamp, you can't tell the difference. With the Motu stuff, now that's pretty. They're pretty obviously not originals.
I think because they haven't made an actual original, like, you know.
Yeah, the closest thing was the closest thing so far to the originals is the Super 7 figures.
Yeah.
And even those are really easy.
Like if they made this exact figure, the original
with the
figure,
fart face.
Yeah, with it smells something weirder.
Skeletor?
Yeah, I smell evil. If they made this exact vintage character in 2021, and that, you know, same coloring, same head sculpt, everything same. Like same inability to stand.
Right. Same drunken clumsiness.
Yeah.
Same cool little Elvis like jig with the leg there.
Then they might, you know, the prices will probably be up. You know, what happens is just grab them and scalp them, and then they'd be twice as much, 3 times as much.
Then you just have to look on his back for the date.
Yeah, exactly. But those are dated,
Whoever the hell Brian Clark is says, I love it for all the reasons already stated. It's great to be able to take the nostalgia trip for a decent price, and the renewed appreciation for old school painted card art. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. Instead of some awful, lifeless, digitally designed crap is wonderful. Hopefully, movie posters take a turn in the same direction. MG McCormick says, I'm good with it. My favorite part of the Star Wars Vintage Collection is the card art. I really like the ROTJ card backs. When it comes to G.I. Joe, I prefer to have all original. I really only collect bats, and the V1 looks the best to me. Jeremy Sample says, loving the retros. Jeremy loves everything G.I. Joe, so that doesn't surprise me. We got Tony Miller saying, I like it. Looking forward to a Muscle revival. Been too long for those. Lost all of mine, of course. Nathan Menke, he posted a link to the Target Ninja Turtles box set, which comes with all 4 Turtles, Splinter, and Destro now.
Shredder?
Shredder, there we go.
Wow.
The Destro I threw in there because I knew that was completely wrong and I couldn't think of Shredder. I don't know why. Nathan says, perfectly okay with this as long as I can get one. I have no idea how hard those Turtles sets are going to be to get. He says some of the online forums have been going nuts because they used a color scheme similar to the 2012 animated figures instead of the 1992 movie star figures. And then he wanted to know when the last time was anybody had actually watched the movie. And Brian Clark, whoever the hell that is, says it's been a minute, but I did get to see it live. So apparently there was a Broadway version of this that he got to see live. Idiot. And let's see. I believe that's everything from our fantastic listeners and Brian.
And what is that?
Have I met Brian?
No,
Okay.
maybe.
I don't know. I like you.
I'd like to put you two in a room together.
Do you think we'd make out?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. No, Brian's awesome. Yeah, like Corey said, but you didn't say the tweeters. What is it? And the
tweeters and the Instagrams.
That's right.
Oh yeah, we didn't have
the
any
breakfast cereals.
We didn't have anything from the tweeters and the Instagrams. It was all Facebook.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
all the old people are on Facebook.
That's
And
right.
they're the ones
That's
that
right.
buy reissued toys.
Yeah, they can't figure out Instagrams like me. I can't figure that shit out.
Well, all right. That's awesome. There's another episode down. Tad, thank you so much for coming.
Anytime.
Talking toys with Tad. Man, that's fun.
I know.
Why don't you tell
Even
everybody?
if he is bitching a lot.
I know. No, that's any chance to let him get it out. That's good.
Are you happy about any of your toys?
I really like your shirt, by the way. I've been eyeballing it all
you.
We'll see
through
it in
the
the
recording
videos.
process.
Yeah.
I say you'll have to watch videos because this is a podcast and you cannot see it.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you on the internets.
Find
Pornhub.
Yes.
OnlyFans.
In addition, there you can find
3Ds on
You can find
Pornhub.
Attack of the Killer podcast and First Time podcast on thepfpn.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and listen.
Now, to clarify, is it PFPN or is it the PFPN?
The
Okay.
PFPN.
Or is it Puffin?
That's exactly it.
Thepempin.
Puffin. Screw you guys. Let's get out of here. Let's go look for some toys. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you around. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Cracktastic Plastic Podcast. But not so fast, my foul fiends. Don't forget to follow these fools on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And visit cracktasticplastic.com. I'll be back.